The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another fantastic Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. As always, we like to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m.
So, what do we have going on today? Well, kind of the first day that makes me think we're really kind of into summer trading. We had a little bit of it on Friday, but you know, it's not uncommon to see light volume Fridays, although the volume wasn't that light, wasn't anywhere as close to light as you would think as we went higher up into the close on Friday. As we start the show out today, 6.3 billion shares. So kind of quiet until really about noon. Really didn't get much going on. The volume was extremely light as they tried to push the market down. Now, when we get into fund buying, we can get deep into the weeds here. But fund buying means that funds are buying. That generally means that reported shares come in late during the day, because most of the time they're buying and selling these things on the dark pools. So you may see prices show up kind of late in the day that seem a little bit different than you think. Those are late reports from the dark pools where basically it's taking the middleman. There's no real exchange. Well, there's kind of an exchange. But it's not the traditional New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ or one of the other engineered exchanges out there. And their reporting doesn't have to be other than, I think, by the end of the day. A lot of times you'll see an extra 2 billion shares or so come in on the CBOE consolidated tape from about 4:15 to 4:30. So they dump those in right at the end of the day. Sometimes they report them after the close. So generally, I don't even talk about the total volume of the day until 8 p.m. when they have to have all those orders in. So I kind of look at the volume from the day of about 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. for that CBOE consolidated tape. And that's everything that's traded. I kind of like it better than just looking at the 9:30 to 4 o'clock New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ numbers, because like I said, again, that number cuts off, but there's still a lot of reporting left to do. 42% on any given day is dark pool volume. And that's just the pros trading with the pros. We never get to see those ticks. And again, a lot of times when they're reported, I'm going to say that if you see it reported within 30 minutes of the trade, that's generally an outlier. It's mostly 30, 45 minutes, an hour later. So there's a whole other market that we're not seeing the trades for, although people in there do. So we kind of have to infer by what they're doing. If they're seeing somebody dump stocks, we're probably going to see at least some kind of indication in the broad markets, roughly equivalent to the time that they're actually doing it. And then you'll see the big numbers come out later from the dark pools, and you go, aha. Anyway, fund buying, last 2 days, calendar days, trading calendar days of the month to the first 3 days, trading days of the month. And so we've got till basically Wednesday. Sometimes you see that extend into Thursday. I don't think it's going to be one of those weeks. And of course, generally, if you're a fund, you get into the office, you see how the market's doing. Somewhere around noon, you probably have a meeting with everybody in the company, and they all talk about what's going to happen, and maybe somebody's heard something, so you shouldn't do something. And then they kind of get around to about 1 o'clock. You start seeing the action, as we've seen here, start after lunch. that continues on and hits a kind of a crescendo generally around 3:30 for fund buying each day. If they run out of cash, that could change, and you could make an argument that maybe there's not as much money as there was. I will make the argument that everybody is incredibly, exceptionally short the market. When I've seen this happen before, the markets can extend extremely for a lot longer than you think as people continue to short cover, and just ratchet the market up. Kind of like a nice pair of vice grips, or actually a nice snap-on ratchet would be good. You just ratchet it, keep moving. And as long as shorts continue to pile on, they are fodder. What is it? Grist for the mill. You like that one better than cannon fodder? Grist for the mill for the market to just sit there and grind them higher. And eventually, when those shorts quit shorting on an extended move like this, the top is in. Now, here's what you want to be looking for. We've talked about it before. You're looking for about 80% of the time when you get into this, you're looking for a big gap higher on a lot of stocks where people are hating the stocks. Look for a 10% move and gap up. And that gap should have not much in the way of volume. A lot of times it fails that day. A lot of times it starts failing the day after it hits those highs. But you're looking for a big gap, and then you have to look at it and go, okay, the volume was half of what it was before the gap. There wasn't anything in here. You look at the short numbers and go, okay, man, there just wasn't a lot of people shorting the market. So you know that the shorts were kind of capitulating on that gap higher. They couldn't pull the trigger again. And that's generally when it's totally just beaten the short bears to death, that you get a reversal in the market. Of course, now they are not short, and the market zooms down as there are not a lot of natural buyers to go after it. And that's generally how the big moves, not small ones, because you do get a lot of back and fill as you're going higher. But if you're talking about getting the kind of life-changing money that a short position can get, you want to hold your breath, then you want to hold your breath again, and then you want to hold it some more. Because generally you're going to be 3 minutes, 3 hours, 3 days, 3 weeks, or 3 months early in shorting a market. I have in fact, just about everybody I know that's been short the market they are always early. The market always goes a little higher. And like I said, maybe you're within 3 minutes. That's probably luck. If you're within 3 hours, that's probably skill of some level. And if you're within 3 days, you probably got stopped out. We'll be back after this.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
It's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1779, a date in history, the court-martial of Benedict Arnold convenes in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. After a relatively clean record in the early days of the American Revolution, Arnold was charged with 13 counts of misbehavior, including misusing government wagons. How could you misuse one? Did he steal it? I always would be very interested in that. Did he do something on it? Nasty? Wait, how do you misuse a government wagon? Did you go too fast? Anyway, and illegally buying and selling goods. So maybe he was running around illegally buying and selling goods that he put in the wagon. I don't know. I'm still very interested in this mistreatment of wagons. Didn't know it was such a big deal. Although his notorious betrayal was still many months away, Arnold's resentment over his order and the perceived mistreatment by the American Army would fuel his traitorous decision. And of course, we haven't had, what's the last real traitor we came up with? We got a few of them, but somehow I have a feeling there are more. I'm sure we'll hear about them soon enough. Okay, give me a call, 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can always put a message in the den. No. Okay. Okay, let's start getting back up. First question about EEM. Okay. You got this gap down that comes from the 11th of March, at 137 million shares. You're into that gap in the emerging markets ETF with 30 million shares right now. So you're pretty close. Now, could it get to 39-ish or so, another 50 cents or so? It could. If I was trading off the lows and bought it off the lows, I'd probably look here and start thinking that maybe this is where I would take my money. I have no sign that says yet to go short this, but if you were going to short the third world markets, they're probably going to start to roll before the U.S. markets. That's generally the case. So I would be watching this, whether you're playing it or not, over the next couple of days, and look for any kind of sign of weakness. If this thing continues to go much higher, that's telling you that the U.S. markets are probably also going to go much higher. If this thing starts getting weaker, probably a good sign that the market will follow it 3 to 5, maybe 7 days after the EEM turns lower. Good canary in the coal mine market. Okay. Other questions out here? I know we got some. Okay. Got that. Question, does confluence always have to be at the 382 and 618 retracements? And the answer is I've never seen it work any other way. Maybe you can come up with something. Confluence is the 618 and 382 retracements from two different moves. Okay, that's not a good example. There we go. Here's the EEM, and this shows where you would find support if it does fail here. The $30.10 low for March 23rd is the first one. The April 1st, 2020 low of 32.62 is the second one. That suggests that if it does fail at these levels, the point to either cover your short or potentially think about going long again is these two. It's the 382 of one to the 618 of the other. And I'll zoom in on this. Okay, there we go. So the answer is, as far as I know, I haven't seen anybody else ever do any of this. These numbers were come up with by Joe DiNapoli. Pretty good programming for a CPM 80 from circa 1981. I think he had a CPM 80, he told me, or an Osborne. Maybe he had both. I can't remember now. I talked to him, 2003, 2004. And I was talking to him about eventually trying to write an algorithm that would actually find these automatically. He always told me that it would never work. Well, in 2008, we came up with a way to make it work. And it does. This is just all automatic on the timing the trade charts, the art of timing the trade charts. And again, you want the 618 of one and the 382 of the other. It will make a very thin, maybe 1%, maybe at the most 1.25% bar. And that is what you're looking for. If they are bigger than that, then they tend to get chewed through slowly. It still shows support and resistance area. It doesn't mean that that support or resistance area will hold. Generally, I'm going to say 75, 80% of the time, these areas are incredibly predictive compared to using single Fibonacci retracement levels. And I think the problem with using 786 is that the range would be so big that I don't think it would be as meaningful as the way that he worked out. Because when the markets are working correctly, there's like in a stock like this, there's like a 50 or 70 cent move. And that gives you a very good indication when this thing gets pierced and it closed back above or back into this level, giving you an idea that truly is support or resistance when those things come through. So I've never thought of trying to use any other numbers just because these ones work so well. But it's something, if you have time, you can always look at. Okay, got that. Okay. Is there any sign, Joseph wants to ask, that we have a high coming in. I said why I don't see anything today. Probably the most interesting thing to me is that Apple is starting to move up, and pretty much I was watching it through 1 o'clock. Didn't have a lot of short positions come in. The short positions have started to decrease over the last 3 days, not massively, but the new shorts have started to decrease a bit. Today, they're fairly low. And that's probably the first ray of sunshine for all the people that are on the wrong side of Apple. I still suspect you're going to get a retest of 326.34, maybe even gap over it and run those shorts out. If you, at the end of the day, see that close back below 326.34, that may be a good sign of a high.
If you're a trader in the market looking to find the path that leads to maximizing profits while decreasing risk, then now is a great time to try out Dave White's daily trading service, The Path of Least Resistance. Through the use of options and equity trades, Dave advises his subscribers on a daily basis of the current market conditions and what possible trade setups are on the horizon. The Path of Least Resistance is published every trading morning, often with updates intraday when initiating trades or closing out positions. Dave White has advised his clients of some outstanding winning options and equity trades in recent months, and now is a great time to try it out for yourself. New subscribers to the Path of Least Resistance receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the types of options and equity trades that are available by signing up for the Path of Least Resistance today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com and selecting the newsletter tab. Sign up today.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get them, folks.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're going to go to Mike in Wyoming. How you doing today, Mike?
Good, David. How you been?
Another day in paradise.
That's awesome. Hey, David, I was just wanted to get an entry point for SPCE. I think this is kind of an exciting technology that, it's good to have the United States back into space again instead of depending on our friends, the Russians, hauling, freight up to the space station. And I'm kind of excited about this company. I just wanted to get your thoughts.
Well, that plane ticket to the Russians cheap at $4 billion, right? That's what we paid them. We paid them in the last 10 years. As far as I can tell, the big problem I have with Virgin Galactic is it's got two unproven technologies.
Okay.
It's trying to launch that 747, dropping what amount to missiles off the wing of it and into space. An interesting technology. It may be supplanted by another company that's using F-104 starfighters to do the same thing. Although I think the ones on Virgin Galactic are going to be able to be a little larger since it's on that giant 747. Then, of course, they've got the drop the plane to take people into orbit kind of thing. That's the space tourism thing. I'm not real sure on that one, right?
Okay. Right.
Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to put satellite in space. There's only one reason to go in space if you're a human and you're a civilian, and that is because you want to put it on your bucket list. So
there you go.
Look at the amount of available billionaires, and that's who your market is for that. Unfortunately, I think that's 3/4 of what they're saying Virgin Galactic would be. My guess is that launching lower satellites off that 747 is the business part of it. And again, problematic because you got a bunch of people doing it on the super cheap with a bunch of F-104 starfighters. Okay. There were a bunch in the early days of the space program. There were a bunch of these converted F-104 starfighters that had what are known as cold gas thrusters. That just means compressed air, but they like to say big words at NASA. So these things on the nose, on the tail, on the wing, when there was no air and they were at 110,000 feet, would at least kind of get the plane back into the right orientation when it got back into the atmosphere. So these planes all exist. I think there are about 6 or 8 of them. Company went and bought all of them. That company went broke. There's another one that's financed much better, but they're just going to strap a rocket to the bottom of it. You're going to put your satellite on the end of the thing and send it into orbit. And you know what? It's probably the cheapest way to get into orbit. So I kind of like that part of the business. The whole 747 thing is a better way to get something much heavier into orbit. I don't know which one of those does well. But again, what do you think the market is for space tourism?
To me, if you got plenty of money, like you say, you have a bucket list, or if you don't know what to do with your money, probably maybe give it a shot.
That's my problem. I'm just wondering how many people are going to do that.
Right.
You have any back of the envelope idea? I don't.
I have no idea.
That's why a lot of times. I don't see the lines forming. What's that?
I don't see any lines forming.
Yeah, that's the problem I have, is that I never understood, other than everybody was bidding this thing up, why it was going so high. There may be a great business for the 747 launch business. We had to, this week, they had to postpone the launch on Wednesday to Saturday because the weather over the launch site wasn't there. The idea with these is, if you can get a 747 or an F-104 starfighter off a strip, it can fly to wherever it wants to drop the missile and then launch it. So for the military, who needs to get it right now, maybe in a space, a pretty good business. And of course, they don't really have to worry about the weather being absolutely perfect at one launch site. Now, they had a big failure with that rocket last week, which is another problem. Not that if you're doing this stuff, you're going to have failures. My guess is that if you wanted to get back into this, you've got to figure out what this thing is worth. Only launching rockets off of existing airborne platforms, i.e., in Virgin Galactic's idea off a 747.
Okay.
I think they can launch 400 pounds, if I remember right. The other ones with the F-104 starfighters, and I want to say it's CubeSat. I'm going to remember the name here. The guy that ended up putting that whole thing together was the guy that wrote Accidental Empires about the birth of Silicon Valley, an excellent read. If you're really investing in technology, I recommend the book highly. But he put that deal together after another company bought it and just never were capitalized correctly. So I'm kind of interested to see that, just on the fact that maybe I could put something into space. I myself may have a budget big enough, which would be kind of interesting. Huh?
I said, there you go. That would be interesting.
I'm thinking they said that 40 pounds was something like $50,000. I mean, I think your average big-time Wall Street guy may be putting ashes into outer space. You know, instead of throwing them into the ocean, have your ashes put into outer space with Scotty. I think Scotty's ashes are up there in off of one of the space shuttles. They threw his ashes. So, you know, to me, ashes into outer space, probably a good business. A lot of people would like to be made of star stuff. But those are the two big things in that area that Virgin Galactic's being. Really, they got two businesses. And I just don't know about the one half of it. The one half of it could be big enough to sink the other half. Okay. And I would rather see it as a pure play. It's hard for me to see that, or not see that, SpaceX just demolishes all these guys. I mean, we're probably going to end up with Boeing and SpaceX, my guess.
Okay.
They've got such tremendous edges on them. My guess is that SpaceX could probably buy Virgin Galactic for that launch to orbit business off of the 747. So there may be a play one day on a buyout, maybe. I just don't see that it. Anyway, thanks for the call.
I appreciate your input. Thank you.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And any thoughts from Paul on HUYA? Oh yeah. Let's take a look at what these folks do. Maybe I've forgotten. Operates live streaming platforms in the People's Republic of China. Okay. I'm always just waiting, and I've said it for 4 years, waiting for the day that they just nationalize everything. So I would never be a buyer of Chinese companies. There's also the issue of whether or not they'll be able to be listed in the United States. It looks like the push to actually force them to have books audited by the SEC here in the United States is on. I don't think I'd want to be involved in any Chinese company now. I think for an American, it is problematic business-wise. There are too many other easier trades out there not to get involved in it. To BILI, you got a little move higher here. Not much juice on it either. Let's take a look at this one. Online entertainment services for the People's Republic of China. Okay. So I think we have an idea here that someone wants to get into Chinese stocks. I'm not the guy to talk to about it. I'm not going to take that risk. I wouldn't have taken it 4 years ago, wouldn't take it today. The only difference is the risk is even higher today in buying China stocks because of that. Chinese Premier Zhong, however you pronounce his name, Zai, said that he'll never allow us in the Western states to look at the books. And therefore, as far as I'm concerned, you might as well be dealing with Madoff. You've got no way to know. And you're always one day, when you're dealing with commies, you're always one day away from them nationalizing everything you got. I wouldn't be long anything in China. But that's me. I don't know why I would take the additional risk when there are other companies here in the United States that I don't have to take that risk on. But you know what? If you're trying to make big returns, sometimes you got to take big risks. I just think that there are easier, bigger risks here in the United States. Okay. And okay. Okay, got another question. Let's see if I can dig it through this. Okay. You said IBM still has a problem. Has it topped out here? Well, you certainly didn't have the volume. I think you want the market to go with you too. I think this is probably coming back to $100. It is one of the weaker of the tech stocks. You still have a year and a half out before they have their first quantum computer. The only thing that really is going to save their bacon. The only thing that's keeping this company from going down is that they bought Red Hat, and now they have a bunch of revenues coming in, but they paid way too much for it. Now that's problematic. Anyway, up on a little bit lighter volume. I think this is probably a good buy, maybe around $100. You'd have to look at it when it gets there. But I think maybe 6 months before they're ready to push out a quantum computer, IBM is probably going to remake themselves over again. I just don't understand why you're investing now for something that's not going to pay off for at least a year, maybe a year and a half. It's all just probably all downside and no upside in it. Okay. That's it. Question about what's going on in the SMHs. China's threat to invade Taiwan. As far as I can tell from all the stuff I've read for geopolitical stuff, it's probably just a threat. They don't have right now enough of a navy to get across the channel. Historically, China's had a very bad time invading other countries going via the sea route. There were two major times, I think in the 1200s and 1400s, maybe 1500s, they tried to invade Japan. And both times a giant hurricane came up and destroyed 2,000 or 5,000 boats. I forget the exact story. And that is where the story of the divine wind from Japan comes from. Every time China, with its billions of people, wanted to go attack their brothers over there in Japan, well, big hurricane come up and killed them all. So maybe there's a big hand of God going on here. Don't know. Of course, they all hate each other from the Second World War. China hates probably Japan a little bit more for all the stuff they did. Well deserved, but kind of looking in the rearview mirror. And of course, Taiwan, the question is, what would they get if they invaded Taiwan? They'd certainly have the land. What they want is the semi-business intact so that they could hold that over the rest of the world. I think the move last week or the week before to start moving the Taiwan Semiconductors operations to Arizona was kind of the first step to maybe making Taiwan a little less important for the Chinese. If we had a good fab here in the United States, it would mean that they couldn't at least hold it over us and the rest of the Western countries. But that's interesting. Let's take a look at AMAT. One of the things I brought up with Tim Ward last Thursday was when you go sideways for an extended time at a high, a lot of time it just chews through and goes higher. I suspect that most of these semis are going to have, like the rest of the market, a gap higher. That gap higher will probably then set some kind of high in the market, or make it that's it. Anyway, I don't think it's any different. And the SMHs really look to me like you're either going much higher or last, you're going to go fill this gap, I think, from the 21st of February. That gap came down on about 10 million shares. But you've been going sideways here, and I've been watching the SMHs during the day. It's not a lot of buyers, not a lot of sellers, but certainly doesn't look like a huge amount of distribution to me. Doesn't look like there's a lot of intraday range pushing on the SMHs. So I'm thinking that it does gap and go through that higher high. Okay. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. Come back, we'll look at gaming plays. Hero. Back in a minute.
back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by BAM! As well as
Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archived workshops that'll take you step by step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab.
Bam!
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. With markets trading with extreme volatility and peaks and troughs everywhere, regardless of what you're looking at in the markets, this is a great time to see the type of analysis Basil Chapman delivers for his subscribers every market day with the Opening Call newsletter. Basil has been analyzing markets, providing his take for subscribers to his trading services since 1984. Every morning, Basil publishes an update for his subscribers, along with weekend and evening updates when warranted. The Opening Call provides traders a daily market overview with regard to the direction of the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, along with specific recommendations, including stops and targets. You also gain instant access to Basil's subscriber webinar archive from earlier this year, a dark cloud cover, and essential market analysis. Ride the Chapman wave today by signing up for the Opening Call newsletter on the front page of TFNN.com under the newsletter tab. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And to wrap up the show here today, we're looking at a couple of the ETFs. And again, with everybody trapped inside, these things have been going nuts. People have been buying games. I suspect, though, by the time we get in September, that these things are probably going to be rather bloated and overbought. I don't, if you're long these things, I don't see any reason to sell them yet. If you're thinking about buying them, I'd need a significant retest in the market. So don't see a lot going on here that makes me say that they're over. One of the big things that really moves these stocks is the big video game conferences that are normally in August. I think they've already canceled them, and I think that may be a good opportunity. Maybe you see the pullback in those. Let's wrap up and take a quick look at volume and the markets. Still showing the NASDAQ up 69 points. S&P's up 15. Dow up just under 198. And when we look at the volume in the market, kind of light, about 7 billion shares so far. But again, on options, or I mean not on options, but on fund buying, a great deal of that money comes in the last 30, some odd minutes. It's actually being traded now in the dark pools. So really you'll need to kind of wait until right after the close, start looking at the volumes and how those things came in for the stocks, because you're going to see a huge dump in both the indexes and the ETFs. And maybe they come up light, maybe they don't, but you can always sell after hours if you want to, or buy after hours. So there's no reason to rush right now. But I suspect you're probably going to still see a few more bumps higher as we get into the close as shorts blink. And they will blink until they quit shorting. And that will be time to short. Pretty easy, I think. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Remember to sell when you can, out when you have.